I hope all of what I talked about in the two videos before this one made sense to people. I will upload. I have the Joss build playlist on my second channel. There's obviously part 2 of the Joss build was the first video in that playlist. Part 1 got featured later, even though it was the one I discovered first. I'm not sure. I forgot why the second one ultimately got uploaded before that. Probably because the Dimension Battle was just, something cool happened in it before something cool happened in it when I was using the first part of the Joss build with a bloody sword, which is why that is the case. But so it was just showcasing part 1 and 2 of the Joss build before I kind of had a really cool moment using Bloody Sword, part 1 of the Joss build, which got turned into its own kind of mini movie that got published in that same playlist. And then I made a Ceramic Blade trailer where I think I was also using the Bloody Sword as well, part of the Joss build, or Joss build part 1. And then the fourth video that got uploaded to that playlist is a Ceramic Blade trailer, which is also, all of these are Dimension battles, but in the thumbnail of that video that I uploaded earlier this week is kind of like a blurry picture of Prickle and the other robot in the secret base, the back of the secret base. I think that area is called the throne room of the secret base. They have it's got a vibe similar to the toy box, but it's more homey and kind of, it's the throne room of the secret base is what it's called, and that's what it kind of looks like. But so that was the fourth video that got uploaded. I think the fifth one is going to be a video it's going to be a video from a Dimension battle that I actually played yesterday, where I'm using the Ceramic Blade as part of the Joss build after I uploaded the Ceramic Blade trailer to that same playlist. So it'll showcase what the Ceramic Blade part of the Joss build looks like in a Dimension battle, so people can get a glimpse of how all 3 builds work. Again, I'm not going to try to show people what it looks like with the Ceramic Blade 2.0, only because it would be like a hybrid of the first and second part of the Joss build. I guess what I'm saying is I have a pretty good idea of how it would play out. It's just Leo would be getting, a defensive oriented buff while your team's attack is going up. And again, depending on what Leo's doing, it could throw the fight in any direction, which is why it was probably impossible for me to beat the Guardian in the first part of the Guardian in Shangri-La, and also any boss in the first part of the Void Realm with the first or second versions of the Joss build. I got through the first part of the Void Realm after beating the Guardian and the Guardian himself with the Joss build equipped with Tire Fang upgraded one time. But essentially that weapon is called Ragnarok, but since then I put it down. It's not really a part of the Joss build. I just wanted to see how it would work with against the Guardian. And then also in Shangri-La, in the first part of the Void Realm, I was able to beat the Guardian with Ragnarok as part of the Joss build, but I was not able to beat any boss in the Void Realm with... So I beat the Guardian in the whole first layer of the Void Realm with the Joss build and Ragnarok equipped, but I guess what I'm saying is Ragnarok really isn't a part of the Joss build. I'm not going to show people what the Ceramic Blade 2.0 looks like as part of the Joss build. That would really be kind of like if I had to people were wondering, it would be kind of like a Vam, the Malevolent version of the Joss build. So it would work, and it would just be kind of like a hybrid between the first and second versions of the Joss build with a defensive oriented mindset when you're looking at it. So I'm not going to try it out, but with the ceramic, when it comes to the Ceramic Blade 2.0, it's funny actually. The movie that I'm going to be featuring in the video after the trailer for the build in the same Joss playlist that I'll be uploading sometime in the future, hopefully. It's funny because I didn't notice it so much as I was playing it on my Nintendo Switch, but when I went back and looked at the video on my laptop and actually on my Switch, the capture gallery on my Switch, both places, the battle itself is actually very spotty in that, like, you see how Serena's moving now, like she's like glitching. That's what the entirety of the Dimension battle looked like when I was using the Ceramic Blade with the Joss build, and that's kind of just like speaks to what it is that the Ceramic Blade is doing when you're running it with the Joss build, because like I said, it's kind of like a perfected version of said build, because everyone, regardless of what Leo is doing, is getting a defensive oriented buff as the fight goes on. So when I went back and watched some of the clips in my capture gallery, I was like, why are the enemies moving in this way? Like, it's like almost like there was some kind of interference in the recording of the video that got picked up on my Switch, and then the same went for when I looked at it on my laptop. But it's pretty exciting to think that that's the kind of effect that running the Ceramic Blade with the Joss build has on the game itself, and I think it further solidifies the fact that that is the final version of what it is I'm trying to do. So it'll be really exciting for people to see how the game plays out after switching to the Ceramic Blade whilst using the Joss build, I guess is my point. And I'm really excited to finish not only the level 80 grind, but the rest of the game with that weapon. I haven't given up on upgrading Ragnarok to its highest level. I think it's going to be a ton of work to get there. The first couple of upgrades after, so you start with Tyre Fang, one Deuce Augite will turn it into Ragnarok, which is what I did. I beat the Guardian Shangri-La with that as part of the Joss build, and then the whole entirety of the first layer of the Void Realm with that same build. And then I'm where I am now in the game, which is, basically continuing the level 80 grind after beating the Guardian and the first part of the Void Realm while using Ragnarok as part of the Joss build, but kind of basically resigning myself, pretty much retiring to the idea of continuing with the Joss build with the Ceramic Blade. But it's pretty cool to think that the Ceramic Blade with the Joss build has that effect on the game quite literally. And I think it also just kind of speaks to what is happening quite literally in the game when you're using it, because it's a lot of things going on in your favor. And again, everyone in your party, Leo included, is getting a consistent defensive buff.